Okay, so this is a quick start tutorial for LumenRT 2015, just to help you get acquainted with the interface. Let's start with the toolbar. Up top we have the file options. Open up a new scene, and there are scene presets with a bunch of different landscapes for you to choose from. Then we have the sample scenes that are pre-built, and then there's the My Scene area, which houses all of your saved scenes. Left click on load, and it'll bring you to the My Scene area. Right click on load and get a browser window to open up scenes that are saved outside of LumenRT somewhere on your computer. Left click on save and it saves your scene as is with the same name in the scenes folder, but right click on save and you get the save as option to save anywhere you want with a new name. Underneath these three options we have the share live cube settings, user settings, and then exit. Underneath file options there's the undo button. Left click once and it undoes your last action. Right click and you get a list of actions you've completed since opening up the scene. Once you undo an action, it'll appear below the undo list in the redo section. Selection tool, we have Maria selected here. I can move her back and forth. Turn her around. And we can scale her up and down. There's also animation path settings for cars and walking characters, animals, what have you, and then the option to delete. This is the settings for your scene. So we have camera settings, lights. Once you have lights in your scene, it'll show up in a list in this window and you could turn them on and off all at once or individually. And then we have the global illumination lighting quality, real-time, standard, full lighting, superior, or extreme. And then there's clipping planes, which works just like lights. As you add clipping planes to your scene, they'll show up in this window and you can add, remove, and edit them from here. Then we have the layer section. Once you add characters, vehicles, and other content to your scene, they get separated into these layers automatically. And then you can turn on and off the layers to help unclutter your scene in case it gets too busy. It just helps with editing. Then we have the sky settings. Let's pick a geolocation. I'm going to go with California. And now we have the accurate lighting for California at 8:44 a.m. on July 14th. Pretty cool. So moving the sun around, you just have to change the time of day. And the date will also do it. There we go. And for weather, we can choose clear skies or overcast, gloomy. Choose clear or hazy, somewhere in between. For clouds, we can mess with the direction and the speed. And then once you have plants on your scene, you could move this slider over to change how the leaves are rustling in the wind. Or you can move it all the way back to still and the plants will stand perfectly still around these clouds. Now for the terrain, we can move the ocean up and down or just turn it off completely. Put it back on. We can change the direction of the waves and we can change the agitation. The depth changes how clearly you can see into the ocean. So all the way to the left, and you can see that the water is pretty opaque right up to the shore. And as you move it to the right, it becomes a bit more translucent. Move it up there. Right. Now we have the terrain brushes that help you sculpt your ground. You can create huge mountains, or we can create big sinkholes. See a whole bit better. We can also flatten out the ground to create a nice plateau. And then this tool is extremely handy. Once you put an object in your scene, if say you have a house on a hill and you want to close up the space between the land and the house, you could use this tool and just select the ground and it'll automatically fill the gap between the house and the grass. Speaking of grass, now we have our materials. Right now we're looking at a beach with lots of sand, but if I was to select the sand material and choose to replace it with, let's say, mountain grass, everywhere there was sand before on the scene is now filled with mountain grass. Oh, and we can also load different terrains. Let's go for Golden Fields. All right. So now we have our terrain set. We can add some trees. Motion back up a bit. All right, so let's add some trees. We have seasonal. As you can see, I have multiple trees selected here from my previously saved tree selection. I can create a new one. Let's get rid of all the ones in here. Choose multiple selection. And go with white oak. Oh. White oak, fastest rise, hawthorn. Save it. Put trees too. So now that I have my tree selection and I have the repeater button on, when I click on the scene, it will rotate through my selection each time a tree is placed. You can also do this with painting. Eco Painter saves a lot of time. Say I want to fill up this little piece of this little island with a bunch of trees. Ta-da. All right, adding people to your scene is the same as adding trees. You could add them individually, or you can create a multiple selection. You can load a previous selection or just create a custom one. And then you could paint them on. We have sitting, walking, relaxing, people in groups, and then the animal section. For the cars, it's the same deal. You could do a multiple selection or place them all at once. It could be our regular cars, our sports cars, SUVs, pickups. You have construction, buses, bikes, boats, emergency vehicles. Then in our miscellaneous objects, we have clipping planes, which just loaded on the screen. So the clipping plane cuts the scene in half basically to help you edit. Now that I did place that clipping plane on the scene, you see it's loaded into that menu I mentioned before. We can turn it on and off, and we can edit it. Also, miscellaneous objects, we have lights. There's an option to import your objects. There's indoor objects, outdoor objects, and then homes. Last on the menu, we have the option to take a picture. Left click once and it takes the picture, saves it automatically to your desktop. Right click and you have photo options. You do fast, standard, superfine, choose your destination, choose the resolution and your aspect ratio, and then be sure to click save photo. And then it tells you what it saved it as and where it saved it. Lastly, we have the movie editor, where your saved pictures go and where you can animate. All right, so that's the menu, the toolbar for Luminar T 2015. I hope you found this helpful. Thank you for watching.